Solving by square roots. Examples. In this first example, we're going to solve for x, which means get the x by itself. So what do we do first? We need to move the minus 5 away from the x from the left side of the equation. So that means we're going to add 5 to both sides. Remember how we draw a line at the equal sign? Well, that's what we're doing. That makes the minus 5 go away, and now we have x squared equals 16. To get the squared to go away, the inverse of that is taking the square root. So the square root cancels out the squared and leaves us with just x. But notice the two solutions. X could equal positive 4 and x can equal negative 4. Another way to write that is negative 4 and positive 4 as the set of solutions. Why is it both? Because if x squared equals 16 and x could be 4, well, 4 squared makes 16, of course, but so does negative 4 squared. Negative 4 times negative 4 makes 16. So we have to do plus or minus anytime we take the square root when we're solving. Let's look at the next example. X minus 3 quantity squared. This time, because the squared is outside this quantity and there's nothing else around it, that's the first thing. Get rid of the squared. So the inverse of the squared is the square root. That cancels out the squared. Take the square root of both sides, of course, and we're left with x minus 3 equals plus or minus 5. Because we took the square root of 25, this quantity could either be positive 5 or this quantity could be negative 5. How do we get the x by itself next? We add the 3 to both sides of the equal sign. That gets rid of that because those are inverses. And now x equals the 3 plus or minus 5. Well, that means we're doing two separate operations for x, 3 plus 5 and 3 minus 5. So we have two solutions, x can equal 8 and x can equal negative 2. Here's the last example, x squared equals 40. The only thing we have to do is get rid of the squared. So we take the square root of both sides. So of course the square root cancels out the squared, and we're left with just x, which equals plus or minus the square root of 40. But that can be broken down because there's a perfect square in 40. So we write square root of 40 as square root of 4 times square root of 10. Because square root of 4 is 2, and therefore our answer is x equals plus or minus 2 times the square root of 10. To check our answer, we can always, in parentheses, write or type 2 square roots of 10 squared and see that when we square it, we get 40. We can also test the negative answer by typing or writing negative 2 square roots of 10 squared and see that it makes 40, which both of them will because both of them are the solution. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the